we've got a fun one today. We're going to make some coilovers. So I've got the struts out of an AE86, dead stock factory struts that still have the spring perch on them. And we're going to turn them into some coilovers using these weld-on steel coilover kits. Steel threads, not alley, so I can weld them on. Beautiful things. So there's not really a whole lot to it, to be honest. A bit of measuring, bit of cutting, bit of welding. So this one here is just mocked up. This is the insert that we're going to be using. Rear of an SW20 MR2. But they're the right size and a good setup for the AE86 front struts. Obviously the MR2 has the engine in the back, so the struts are well suited to the engine in the front of our Corolla. But we're wanting to run the drift van really, really low. So what I'm actually going to do is cut and shut the strut here to be the same length as my insert or my shock absorber. So here you can see how I've cut and shut the existing strut housing already. So we're just going to do exactly the same to this one. Cut right on the line there where that weld is, prep it up, and then we can weld them together, and then it's just a matter of putting the sleeve on. The standard spring perch is now out of the equation. We don't need that. And this cut's a bit rough, and what I did is I've left myself quite a few millimeters. I'm going to chuck it in the lathe and machine it flat. So we've got the young men here. We just put the coilovers in. Everything's looking pretty good. We're pushing forward on its own suspension for the first time, which is kind of exciting. But I've just realised that the passenger side rear guard hasn't been cut yet. So we physically can't put the tyre on because the guard's completely in the way with how low we're running the car. So I've just got myself a little die grinder. I'm going to do some fancy cutting. What have you been up to, Lewis?
Bolting stuff up.
Bolting up. Show me what you bolted up.
This.
What's that called?
I'm doing it.
Coilover. Coilover, there we go.
I'm going to call suspension for a minute.
It's still suspension. So yeah, there we go. We've put them in. We've maxed out the canvas so we look super cool. And we're working towards putting the rear wheels on. Cut this guard yet. I've left this factory. So until that's cut out, the wheel physically won't fit. So the boys are fitting the panhard rod. We're putting the last of the 4 links in and the rear coilovers in. We've got to cut ourselves some clearance. Got my money's worth out of that one. Right, this is it. We've got 4 wheels on the car for the first time, and we're about to send it down off the hoist so it sits by itself. Exciting times. All done. We've got the works on because the other tyres are no good. And 4 wheels. That's the first time this car's actually had 4 wheels bolted to it.
Yeah, boy.
Now with that clearance, and we're going to send it. We're going to drop it down and sit it on its suspension for the first time.
I'm taller
It's
than
too low.
We've got to get it off the hoist. Pretty standard for my hoist to not be able to get lower cars on and off without having to jack it. Alright, I'm going to slide that yellow arm out, Joe and Nathan. So the front's a little bit higher than the rear, so we're just going to lower the front a touch.
Are we making it as low as we can go?
Nah, probably drop like 20 mil. So have a look at that, Lewis. Set yours the same as that. Yeah?
So,
Okay, give it a good shove. So steer a little bit more, Lewis. Yeah. Straighten her up.
Oh my gosh. No power steering yet.
No, it's not getting power steering.
Oh, really?
Hashtag no power steering.
It's fine, I won't help you ever again.
That's how you do. Tim, what's the update?
There we go. We've got a rolling car. This has been a bit of a milestone that we've been aiming for, is to get the car to this point. It is kind of exciting to see that suspension that we spent a lot of time designing and building actually working, and she's pretty low. That's as high as it can actually go. It can't get any higher. So it should be fun, but it's looking good. What I envisioned in my mind is what the car is. So yeah, pretty stoked, pretty happy with that. So exciting times, good hustle by the lads tonight. We did a lot of work getting all the suspension in on each corner and putting arms back in. The panhard rod had to go back in. One of the 4 links was out, so that had to go back in. Steering needed to go back in, so they've been working hard, which has been excellent. So yeah, awesome. Cars rolling. Feels good.